Well, here we are a week after the Arnold Classic, and looking back, everything went very, very well. There's a lot of pressure leading up to it because you really have to deliver, and you want it to be always better than your previous best. So we set the bar really, really high production-wise, and we really expected to put on an incredible event because we've got essentially three big groups of people to please. They're the athletes, the fans, and the sponsors and exhibitors. So you have to get all that right, and I think we delivered on every front and knocked it out of the park. So it's very satisfying to look back, but to be honest, it takes a good week for me to process it. And a lot of people straight away said, "Oh, how did it go? Are you happy?" I said, I don't know. I need to process it. So here it is, processed, and very pleased with the result. Bringing all the athletes together is a massive part of the Arnold Classic Sport and Fitness Weekend, because we had over 30 sports this year. If you imagine, the Olympic Games has 30 sports. So although we don't have the funding they've got and the quantity and quality of athletes they have, we certainly had several professional events with world champions, and then some lower level events where we just encouraged participation. But overall, we had over 8,000 athletes competing in all the different disciplines, from martial arts through to strategic sports like chess and Rubik's Cube, and then we had kettlebells and arm wrestling and all the power sports, strongman and powerlifting, this kind of thing. There was 9 or 10 different martial arts involved and a bunch of other stuff. So to coordinate all of that and all the athletes and all the hotels and all the travel is a massive part of it. The amateur bodybuilding had close to 400 athletes from all over Australia. So to be able to make sure they get hotels and the check-ins and all that sort of thing is another huge part of it. The professional athletes and then all the guests that come in with the companies at the expo. There was over 200 international professional athletes at the expo on the weekend. So it's a huge element, and a whole year of planning goes into getting that side of things done. Of course, this year and last year we struck the Formula One Grand Prix the same weekend. So then hotels become premium priced. They all jack their prices up to nearly double for the weekend. So you've got to be very, very fast on your feet to think through it and to make sure everyone's got somewhere to stay. And then, of course, the transportation and the meals. So for the professional athletes, we have full-time chefs staying in the hotel so they can cook the lean food they need without the sugars and salts and all that sort of thing. We have a whole team of drivers plus a bus. So we have one bus and 4 or 5 vans on the road, and that's without the corporate cars for Arnold. So at any one time we can have up to 10 vehicles on the road altogether. So therefore you've got to coordinate all of those drivers, all those drop-offs and pickups, and then make sure that's communicated effectively to the athletes so everyone knows where they have to be at each given time. So the athlete coordination is a huge part of the whole weekend. So the security for the event is huge. I mean, in this day and age, you've got to do bag searches and you've got to keep your eyes out for all sorts of things that are going on in the world. So we have a professional team of security we employ through the Melbourne Convention Exhibition Centre that are all registered security guards that do not only the expo but also the entrance and exits and doors and loading docks and all that sort of thing. Then we have to have security all night because of the Arnold Equipment Expo. There was equipment out in the public. We had the gym built outside for Cybex. So all of those people need security 24 hours. Then inside the expo, when the doors shut, of course, there's millions of dollars worth of stock. So we have to have guards in there all night long, making sure that no one's sneaking in and taking clothes or supplements and that sort of thing. Then we've got the Arnold security team where we have professional bodyguards with him at all times. And then we have a team of a safety team, which don't provide security, but they help to walk him through the expo and keep all the public safe, because you can imagine taking a celebrity of Arnold's stature anywhere. It's a full-time job. Then we have people with Arnold all the time, when he's in a restaurant or when he's out riding his bike or when he's walking to the gym or whatever. We always make sure there's someone close by. And Arnold's a great guy. He doesn't hide away and expect private rooms and all that sort of thing. In fact, he's happy to eat in the public part of the restaurant. But our people make sure that no one approaches him for a photograph, for example, while he's eating. Apart from that, he's very, very generous with his time and fairly easy to protect. But it is a consideration. Without going into all of the strategy behind it, certainly with driving and moving Arnold, moving the team and moving some of our higher profile celebrity guests, there's a whole tactical security plan and system behind that. We're very, very satisfied. The whole team came together. And it's not just my team from the office where we have 6 full-time people on it, but also the team of volunteers that we had. We had over 200 volunteers that gave up their time, as drivers, as hospitality people, working in the green rooms, setting up the super gym, making sure people knew where to go, working the registration desk, and a whole bunch of stuff. You know, the strongman teams and the powerlifting teams, all the people that load the bars and move the equipment around, and it's gotten huge. And you know, I can take the credit for having the vision, but really it's the team in the office and the team of volunteers and the team of everyone that comes together to make it a success. The exhibitors do an amazing job. You know, the booths that they built this year were world class. And some of the companies that came in from overseas and some Australian companies went all out and built, you know, like little houses, really. Like the structure of some of the booths was just amazing. The banners that they hang and the big screens and all that sort of thing. And then all the sporting groups that provided an amazing job. You know, the strongman, both the amateur and pro, was the best strongman show we've ever had in Australia. The powerlifting with Pro Raw was the best powerlifting we've ever seen in Australia. You know, the arm wrestling, the kettlebells, the martial arts, all of it were world class. And that makes you very, very happy to see that come together. As far as the crowds went, you know, we had a sellout crowd at the Arnold Classic on the Saturday night and 2/3 full on the Friday night. And it's the first time we've spread it over 2 nights. So that was also a success. The Arnold Business Lunch was a sellout. That was amazing to sit and interview Arnold. From my point of view, is always fun, but to do it in a business setting and to go off the path of bodybuilding and movies and talk about business and success was a great thrill. Then we had the Arnold Fans Expo, a fans interview on the Sunday morning. That was also really, really successful. And I've found that the more I interview Arnold, then the more trust and comfort there is there where we can go to some different areas and take him to places he may normally not go with the interviews. And he's very, very giving and loves to share his stories with the fans. And we had a whole lot of fun. You know, it's great to measure success by numbers through the door and profits and all this sort of thing, but I'm not driven that way. I've got a real passion about what I do, and I'm driven by seeing the smiling faces of the fans, getting great feedback from the exhibitors, seeing athletes breaking world records and being the best they can be and elevating themselves, and seeing kids get off the couch to participate and to come and get involved, and then to have Arnold give you a big high five on the way out, and to please our business partners, the Lorimers, and all of our international guests and judges and all those sort of people. That's really, to me, the measure of success, and we ticked all of those boxes. So it's been an amazing thing. But you know, we finished on Sunday. Monday morning we're back in the office planning for next year. We won't stop. In fact, next year we've doubled the size of it, so we've got the whole Melbourne Convention Centre, and it's only our 3rd Arnold Classic, and we're now not just Australia's biggest sport and fitness expo, Australia's biggest annual expo, period. There's no other expo in Melbourne that takes up the whole convention centre on an annual basis, and we've just booked it for the next 3 years. So that's overwhelming in a sense and scary, but we're going to next year integrate the Arnold Classic Expo as usual, 20% bigger, plus the Arnold Equipment Expo, which will take up 3,000 square metres, and for the first time ever, the Arnold Kids Expo. And I'm really, really pumped about this because we're going to encourage kids to get off the couch, put the PlayStation and the iPhone down and come and get involved in sport. And we're going to give space to 20 or 30 different sporting groups, you know, from futsal to tennis, basketball, AFL, soccer, rugby, gymnastics, all these fantastic kids sports we're going to give space to, as long as they have a come and try element. So the mums and dads can bring the kids in, the kids all get in for free. It's a massive space, like what's it going to be, 9,000 square metres of just kids expo. It's almost a square kilometre of courts and fun stuff for them to do. And of course we'll have booths in there where people want to, you know, sell their or promote their goods to the parents and to the children, that sort of thing. It might be sporting goods or apparel or healthy snacks and this sort of thing. And it's just a drive to continue Arnold's fitness crusade, and most of all to get kids off the couch, out having fun, playing with a ball, having a kick, and getting back to some good values, because I think sport is the greatest thing for kids, for their minds, for their bodies, and to teach them discipline in life. I'm just a big rap for sport. So that's part of Arnold's fitness crusade, and it's probably the thing I'm most excited about for next year, is to bring this whole new element to it and then to keep improving again.